Who are the people buying real estate in Gurgaon in today's market? Is it just the investors? Is it end users? Or is it a complete new breed of buyers?
Very many home buyers have, who wanted to really get into a ready-to-move in property have taken a step back.
Because the market is stable in the last 3, 4, 5 years, their confidence is also now getting boosted up. They have now started exploring different options.
The reason has been simple that the prices have gone beyond expectation, or what they have now decided is to go in for an under construction projects.
A lot of people miss this residential boom wave. Do you feel that commercial is something that is going to grow in Gurgaon?
With the facts there in the ground, commercial is still underrated. Any commercial or industrial land in Gurgaon, the prices is almost double or more than double in many areas.
The various aesthetics of the project, which has compelled him to take this decision. As I said, more developers have brought in a more spiel to the project in terms of the design element, in terms of, the amenities which would be there.
But yes, commercial is going to give the next boom in Gurgaon real estate.
We've got a very interesting podcast happening today where we have Munish and Anjani. Thank you so much for being here. And today we're going to delve into everything to do with real estate and not just residential for a change. We're going to get into the deeps of commercial, retail investments and why investors should also keep this as an investment route and not just residential. Thank you so much, guys, for being here.
Thank you, Radhika. I have been looking forward for this discussion.
So let's start with the big question that everyone wants to know. Who are the people in today's date who are actually buying real estate? Is it end users? Is it the so-called investors? Or is it a completely new breed of buyers?
I would like to answer this from the perspective of what we have experienced with dealing with customers since last 1.5 years. जिन लोगों ने 2010-11-12 में गुड़गांव रियल एस्टेट में इन्वेस्ट किया था, and they might not have the best of the experiences during that point of time.
बहुत लोगों ने हाथ जलाए थे.
तो वैसे लोग ज़्यादा skeptical थे when real estate boom started again post 2020, post COVID. ऐसे लोग ज़्यादा डरे हुए थे तो इन लोगों ने इन्वेस्टमेंट कम करी. आजकल जो हमारे पास कस्टमर्स आते हैं या इन्वेस्टर्स आते हैं, ये ज़्यादा वैसे लोग हैं जिनका फर्स्ट हैंड एक्सपीरियंस अच्छा नहीं था गुड़गांव रियल एस्टेट का. बट नाउ व्हाट दे हैव सीन इन हैपनिंग इन गुड़गांव सिंस लास्ट 4.5 years, तो उनको लग रहा है लेट्स एक्सप्लोर रियल एस्टेट वंस अगेन. सो दिस इज़ वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट कम्युनिटी इज कमिंग टू गुड़गांव टू इन्वेस्ट. सेकेंड, बहुत सारे ऐसे एंड यूजर्स आ रहे हैं who are upgrading their existing house. So who is already staying in a 3-bedroom apartment which is 10, 15, 20 years old, and they have disposable income right now, and they want to sell their existing property which also has a very good value right now, and they want to upgrade. So upgrade, or we can term it as premiumization of real estate which is happening.
If you had to explain it to me in the simplest way, what's the real difference between investing in residential versus commercial?
So I would like to divide this residential versus commercial understanding in 3 parts. Commercial in 2. One is office और एक retail है. Commercial के 2 broader segment हैं. And third is complete residential. It includes residential plot and everything. So these 3 broader categories of product different in a different manner if we take a horizon of maybe of 5, 6, 7 years. Residential right now, I'm talking about Gurgaon perspective. Right now, residential is trading between something between 18,000 to 23,000 rupees in a very good location in Gurgaon. Something in office is trading between 17,500 to 21,000 rupees per square foot in Gurgaon.
The delta is not that big.
Yes, the gap is, so office is slightly less expensive than residential, and retail in a very good location which is ready to move in and can be easily leased out is trading between 60,000 to 80,000 rupees per square foot. That is there in Gurgaon. If you take a 5, 6, 7 years perspective in all these 3 broad categories, residential gives you a ROI of around 1.5 to 2% rental yield, and retail gives you a rental yield of around 4.5% up to 5%. Retail being the costliest here, although the supply of retail is also the least in terms of if you make a pyramid of supply. Residential or real estate goes hand in hand. It's a synonym of real estate in everywhere. So residential is a product which is understood by the larger audience. But yes, capital appreciation के साथ rental yield सबसे कम आता है यहाँ पे. We fail to understand from a buyer perspective कि real estate में residential के beyond भी कुछ investment opportunities है in form of office, in form of retail, depending what budget you are looking at. You should 100% explore office because आज गुड़गांव में 18 से 20,000 या 22,000 रुपये में residential मिलता है. आपको 18,000 रुपये में कमर्शियल भी मिल जाता है, ऑफिस स्पेस स्पेशली. रेजिडेंशियल में यील्ड आती है 1.5-2% की रेंटल यील्ड. ऑन द अदर हैंड ऑफिस गिव्स यू अ रेंटल यील्ड ऑफ अराउंड 5.5-6-7%. So from a monthly return point of view, office stand on the first rank from a monthly rental point of view, or ticket size भी कम है as compared to residential. So as an investor, you should explore the office category if you are investing in for a regular monthly income, and capital appreciation is also there. Office की supply भी limited है गुड़गांव में, so that is adding value to your
From
portfolio.
what I'm understanding from what you're saying, correctly, if someone is a true investor, they should definitely look at commercial and office, so to say, and retail also for that matter. Whereas what we've seen in the Gurgaon market is that residential has been booming. So do you feel it's a lack of knowledge and awareness that people have seen, or is it just something that has held them back from investing in commercial?
The major reason why people does not have the appetite to invest in commercial is awareness. They generalize commercial कि बहुत ज़्यादा risk है, vacant रहता है, खाली रहता है, नहीं चढ़ता land पे, maybe because of prior experiences. Right now, Gurgaon is a place where the supply of good quality office is minimum. The supply of good quality retail is minimum. रेजिडेंशियल की सप्लाई है, ऑल्दो रेजिडेंशियल में बूम भी है, उसकी डिमांड भी ज़्यादा आती है, बट येस सिंस वी आर नॉट पुट दैट काइंड ऑफ एफर्ट इन टर्म्स ऑफ शेयरिंग इंफॉर्मेशन अबाउट कमर्शियल प्रोडक्ट ऑल टुगेदर, बीट एनी प्लेटफॉर्म, आज आपको गूगल करने पे रिटेल इन्वेस्टमेंट, कमर्शियल इन्वेस्टमेंट के बारे में कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. वी हैव अ लॉट ऑफ रियल एस्टेट, पॉपुलर रियल एस्टेट इन्फ्लुएंसर्स whose information is being absorbed very quickly and very authentically. They also don't talk about why to invest in real estate. So एक तो propaganda है that everybody is talking about residential, let's talk about residential. Awareness नहीं है, I understand, because genuinely नहीं है, लोग नहीं बात करते उसके बारे में. So from a real estate consultant point of view, since we are there in the market since last good 20-21 years, right now if somebody is a very calculative investor, there are a lot of in the market, they genuinely invest in commercial right now also, and they are making good money out of it. So as a consultant, I would strongly recommend everyone with the help of your this video that you should start exploring commercial, especially in Gurgaon, because the way Gurgaon is placed right now.
So I think as a real estate investor myself, and talking exactly how you're saying, mostly focused on residential, I think it's important today I'm going to touch base with you and delve more into commercial and see where to understand and educate the people on how commercial can actually be looked at and why as an investment class, the fears that are there, let's address those in today's podcast.
So now, as Anjani has very well put it, that the investor does come for the commercial properties. But now, how does this work? I'll just put it in this context. If I take Golf Course Road today, the entire commercial belt is on a COCO model. So there
Can you explain the COCO model to us?
COCO model is
actually?
company owned, company operated. It's purely an asset of the company. Company does the leasing, and henceforth it is the company, they decide whoever the lease and that has to be done. When we used to sell the residential, apartments on the particular Golf Course Road and in and around, we always used to highlight the commercial development. Right now, the commercial development went hand in hand in terms of the distances. Okay, sir, ये distances कम हैं, आपको office पास में है, be it Horizon, be it Cyber City, be it the further development in and around the area of 4 to 5 kilometers around that particular patch. Yes, the residential grew very phenomenally well, as most of the CEOs, CXOs had their offices in the nearby office spaces of DLF, which were there. Here, the investor never came in because there is no opportunity for him to invest. So then what happened was the capital appreciation happened on the residential projects, and that's where the major investment went in. The knowledge was there. We have seen phenomenally in the last 4-5 years how things have panned out in the residential projects under ready to move in also and under construction also. So this flow has been going on for some time, but now we see on the sectors of Golf Course Extension Road, where we see developers have brought in grade A building, commercial buildings, wherein investors or people can buy office space for themselves, which can get further leased out. Now, those days have gone where it has to be only 10,000 square feet or 5,000 square feet. There are impeccable 2,000 to 3,000 square feet where an investor or a person who wants to buy an office space can come and invest in the particular office space and have a very, very healthy lease rental coming out of that.
I have a question that when someone has to invest in commercial or retail, any of this space, then should they wait for the residential catchment to be built first and then invest? Or is it that the commercial comes up first and you should keep a track on the residential that's coming up around it?
The way Gurgaon is developing right now, आज residential developments, most of the areas in Gurgaon has already happened, and we hardly see commercial activities in last 2, 3, 4 years. There are hardly any launches. So residential absorption is already there. Wherever in Gurgaon, if you launch as a developer, if you launch a commercial project, उसका absorption अच्छा आएगा because people are organically demanding offices, organically demanded retail spaces, good quality retail and office spaces. तो catchment of residential and office goes or retail goes hand in hand. बट आज के टाइम पे पिछले 3-4 सालों में लॉन्चेज ही नहीं है कमर्शियल के, अपॉर्चुनिटीज ही नहीं है.
So what you mentioned, supply is constrained.
Not there. So whatever there in terms of existing offices or existing commercial, they are already absorbed. कुछ चीज़ें absorb नहीं हुई हैं, उसके अलग reasons हैं. We can talk about it that in detail. But product which are good A category, product which has good arrival experience, which is well managed, are getting leased, despite of the fact that it does not have a nearby residential catchment.
And just to add to this, and these are owned by individuals. I'm not saying, and they are getting, you see, in the commercial space, even if you're holding 2,000 odd square feet, that gets, with combinedly put together with the other floor plates which are put together, you can easily get it take 6 to 10,000 square feet, and there is a very healthy return. I see this as Anjani has put it, that now supply has started now, the new developments have started coming on the extension road. And to name a few buildings, I can just put it across, even if I have to speak about, the developer called AIPL. Now, AIPL Autograph is under construction. The handover is right, the fit out, they have already called in for fit outs. Now, this is one grade A building, and this I can compare to AIPL Business Club also, which has been definitely been handed over. Overall, the sense of arrival to this building, there is one particular tower that is dedicated towards the arrival podium only. So we'll see this kind of a velocity and absorption among investors also wanting to, and are, as I speak, we are already closing sales for this here also, coming in and buying good amount of space for themselves, with the prospect that this would be eventually getting leased out at a very healthy rental returns as we speak, because the in and around area in catchment is doing very well. Overall, if I talk about the golf estate, I got Arbor, I got various other projects which are anyway ready to move in and anyway getting developed in 2 to 3 years of time. We'll have a strong encatchment of residential around that, and people would want to come and have their offices in these particular nearby buildings.
So if I understand from what you're saying, even though the commercial is already there is very limited grade A supply which is worth investing in, and the residential catchment, A, there is already some catchment, B, with the number of launches coming up, the catchment is actually going to expand multifold. So when we see, by the time I think a lot of investors will come in and decide to buy, the prices would have shot up. Absolutely. So the real estate boom we saw in residential would have captured in commercial, and it might just be too late 3-4 years later to invest.
On the extension road side also, the rental, and Anjani can also second it, the rental is only creeping up there. When I say the word creeping, we had 70, 75, 80 rupees. Today, a grade A building is touching as high as 120 rupees square feet on the extension road. So
these are some of the figures people are not aware of actually.
Absolutely right.
Very nice. And if we look at it, there was one point you mentioned where you said an investor can come in and buy 2,000 square feet. Now, when this is 2,000 square feet, is it that they get a lock and key shop delivered to them that they can rent out, or is it that this 2,000 is a part of a larger floor plate that the developer or the builder will lease?
So it depends. If you are looking for an investment जहाँ पे आपको rental return आता है, you can buy a non-lockable space also, which we traditionally called a virtual space, which will be in the range of maybe 500, 1,000, 1,500, whatever area you want to have. If you are very particular that you want to buy a lockable space only and you want to use it in the future, it will range starting from 1,500 square feet to 1,000 square feet and the multiple of that. बहुत छोटे lockable space developer comfortably sell नहीं करता, because it is very hard to find a tenant of 500, 1,000 square feet. So if you are very particular about कि आपका भी future में self use हो सकता है, buy a lockable. एंड इफ़ यू आर वेरी श्योर कि मुझे सिर्फ रेंटल रिटर्न के लिए ही इन्वेस्ट करना है, बाय अ वर्चुअल, लेट द लीजिंग राइट बी देयर विद द डेवलपर, एंड डेवलपर भी आज के टाइम पे जो प्रैक्टिकल सिनेरियो है गुड़गांव का, लॉट ऑफ डेवलपर हैज़ अ वेरी वेरी गुड लीजिंग टीम, एंड दे because they want to run the building and they also want to get their brand name build up and take a product as a benchmark and develop for a future basis on that, and they put a lot of time and energy in leasing a building, so they have a very good leasing team. If I can share a name, जैसे AIPL ने business club deliver करा, I would request any investor just come there and visit the property once. You'll realize the kind of product they have made, and whatever future they are making, it will be 1-2 notch upper to whatever they have delivered in business club. And the intent of the developer, you can see there, the kind of arrival experience they are sharing, the kind of building maintenance in terms of quality, what they are doing. And मेरा एक personal bias है, I judge a building by the basement parking.
Yeah, I think that's very important from the user experience. Yeah.
So if the basement is well lit, it is very clean, very neatly planned and placed, तो उससे भी intention बदलता है, because most of the cash is burned in making a basement only, and a lot of developers try to escape there. So in that context, these are AIPL and EMAR, and Magnum is one of our very good developers in Gurgaon who is making great building, and a lot of other developers also. You have to come and see what they have delivered, and basis that you can judge. We should not generalize commercial as कि अगर एक प्रोडक्ट नहीं चला या 2 प्रोडक्ट नहीं चला, एक डेवलपर का प्रोडक्ट नहीं चला, तो everything is built the same way. We should not generalize.
So one question I have is, and a lot of people ask me this in fact, that why is it in Gurgaon we see so many unleased commercial retail spaces, throughout?
So Radhika, we have to understand this from a product point of view. Commercial has 2 aspects, retail and office. Retail गुड़गांव में जो vacant हैं उसके अपने एक reasons हैं, because a lot of investors have bought retail and they want to monetize it and they want to sell it. So अगर हम monetize करने के लिए जाते हैं, जिस rent पे actually वो absorb हो सकता है, उसके हिसाब से monetization comes around 2.5-3%. And since लॉन्ग टर्म लीजेस होते हैं रिटेल में 9 साल 12 साल 13 साल, तो अगर एक बार उसने रेंट पे चढ़ा दिया तो वो 2-3% 4% का रिटर्न देगा, एंड दी मोनेटाइजर विल नॉट बी एबल टू सेल इट, बिकॉज डिमांड है 4-5-6% की फ्रॉम एज अ रेंटेड एसेट, एंड लॉन्ग टर्म लीज है. सो दे हाइड अवे फ्रॉम लीजिंग दोज यूनिट बिकॉज वो मोनेटाइज नहीं कर सकते. इट इज़ ईजियर फॉर देम टू कीप इट वेकेंट एंड गेट देयर काइंड ऑफ लीज इन टर्म्स ऑफ जो वैल्यू उनको चाहिए एंड देन सेल इट. तो एक तो ये फ्रिक्शन है.
की डिमांड नहीं है, इट्स मोर लाइक financially, if you look at it mathematically, it makes more sense for the owner to not lease it out.
This is the reason, but जिसकी वजह से वो खाली होता है बिल्डिंग, और बट हम उसको जनरलाइज कर देते हैं यार बिल्डिंग वेकेंट है, चली नहीं. डेवलपर वंस डिलीवर्ड द प्रोडक्ट, द लीजिंग राइट्स, इफ दे हैव द लीजिंग राइट्स, तो वो खुद लीजिंग में हेल्प करते हैं. बहुत सारे डेवलपर्स करते हैं गुड़गांव में. जो भी कोको मॉडल वाले रिटेल हैं गुड़गांव में, दे आर 100% ऑक्यूपाइड, बी इट एम्बियंस मॉल और मे बी अ वर्ल्ड मार्क और मे बी ग्रैंड व्यू टावर्स इन आईरियो. जो कोको मॉडल वाले रिटेल हैं वो तो 100% ऑक्यूपाइड हैं, बिकॉज वहाँ पे डेवलपर हैज़ दी अथॉरिटी एंड हैज़ द राइट टू लीज दी स्पेस. जहाँ पे इन्वेस्टर के पास यूनिट है वहाँ पे वो मोनेटाइज करने की वजह से एडिशनल फ्रिक्शन गेट्स एडेड. दिस इज विद द रिटेल पार्ट. ऑफिस में वी सी अ लॉट ऑफ वेरिएशन इन गुड़गांव. The lease in office starts from 35-40 rupees in some of the odd areas, and it goes up to 250 rupees. Godrej is coming up with a new commercial on Golf Course Road. वहाँ पे 250 रुपये का लीज गोदरेज साइन कर रहा है. साइबर सिटी इज hovering around 180 rupees to 210-220 rupees. तो हम 30-40 रुपये से ऑफिस का लीज 200-250 रुपये तक देखते हैं. इट्स अ वेरी बिग रेंज. इट शुड नॉट बी. तो उसका रीज़न ये है कि लॉट ऑफ कमर्शियल ऑफिस स्पेस डेवलपर हैज़ नॉट बिल्ट द वे actual companies want it to be like that. For example, MG Road का example लेते हैं. MG Road पे EMAR has a very beautiful office space which is called Gurgaon Gateway. वहाँ पे ऑफिस का रेट is around 31,000-33,000 rupees per square feet. Rental is around 150 rupees. Other projects on MG Road which are also ready, वहाँ पे 15-16 हज़ार रुपये का प्राइस है. 60-70-80 रुपये का लीज है ऑफिस में. इतना डिफरेंस इसीलिए है बिकॉज द प्रोडक्ट इट सेल्फ इज लाइक दैट. इंटायर साइबर सिटी DLF जो बिल्डिंग बनाता है वहाँ पे 180 रुपीज़ 200 रुपीज़ का रेंटल है, बट बाकी जगहों पे रेंटल नहीं है. वाई? बिकॉज जो प्रोडक्ट इट इज़ मेड द वे कंज्यूमर और द एक्चुअल कंपनी वांट्स इट टू बी लाइक दैट, उसकी डिमांड अच्छी है, उसका रेंटल अच्छा है. a product which is under substandard, not made very beautiful, uski demand nahi hai. And I would request the audience also from this particular video कि whenever you are investing in a particular product, be it residential or commercial, especially commercial, don't generalize everything. तो vacant रहने के पीछे reason is not just the developer or the category of the product. There are a lot of other reasons also, which is.
But from your takeaway, from what I can understand, it's not just the location. How people say in real estate, location matters. It's not just location, it's also the type of building and the quality. You have to make sure that you're investing in the right type of building, because for that the demand will stay. It will stay evergreen. Versus a grade B or a grade C building that will eventually deteriorate. And having these small investors who are holding that inventory, you'll think that it's not getting leased. Whereas there may be demand, but it's not getting leased for a reason. Interesting. And any examples you can give me otherwise by micro market and what you think for commercial buildings, whether we look at leasing?
So overall, Radhika, what has happened in the last 5 or 10 years, Gurgaon has become home for very many people who have eventually moved out of Delhi and made Gurgaon their home. Now, if you look at the morning traffic, the carriageway that goes from Gurgaon to Delhi is more is more seamless vis-a-vis towards the carriageway coming from Delhi towards Gurgaon. This only shows the kind of velocity of workforce that resides in Gurgaon. And here distances have started. Distances do matter in terms. If I have to have a meeting and if I have to go towards Delhi, my man hours that I get wasted on the roads is extremely long. So suppose today whether if I have to have a meeting on an extension road or an MG road, so I would be more at ease to cover up more work in the particular sphere. So that's why I'm saying, offices on the extension road, whether it's the Magnum Global or Magnum Tower or Good Earth, these are more accessible to even residents and people who are working there to make their, establish their offices towards in these buildings. So as I said, whether they want to invest, whether they are taking it on lease, it makes a lot much sense than traveling all the way to Delhi.
I actually agree, because I've noticed that even a lot of Delhi-based corporates that are there, say some of them, there's, we've seen the legacy brands, they're all in CP, they have those CP offices. Now come what may, they're making sure that they have a Gurgaon office as well. And it's not, they don't have to just shut down. We're not saying that demand is just shifting. Of course, in a lot of cases it is shifting. Because if you look at it, CP doesn't have that, that experience, the kind of size of offices that they would like to, showcase when their customers or their, offices and people, that the talent pool they attract. So today, they are opening offices, the ones which are in Delhi already, they're opening, smaller offices, satellite offices in Gurgaon. And we've seen a big influx of offices also shifting from Delhi to Gurgaon. So is this where you feel that the demand is coming through, or is there anything else also?
No, this is primarily the demand. I have recently closed 2 to 3 transactions, one on that, similar to this one. Companies, pharmaceutical companies have opened up their offices on the extension road. So we had one of the, wholesale distributors who said, well, I need to have also, I have one offices towards Paschim Vihar, but I want to have another office here where the representative can come to my office and there can be a quick discussion and, we have a business more in terms of, in terms of getting some more results in overall. So he's bought a place of say around 2,000 square feet he has just closed in. With an office having in Delhi also, he is residing in Gurgaon, makes much sense to have an office
be there.
And these are some of the examples. So every time, as I said, I may be repeating that it is not about 5 to 10,000 square feet. These are small, units where people are wanting. And this could be an investor, so takes it, suppose even an investor has bought here, he could have got a rental of 100, 110 rupees on his investment over a period of time. So
and how
that's
you
what-
mentioned that there are also virtual spaces. So I can be an investor of the same 2,000 square feet. One tenant of mine could be these pharmaceutical companies who are taking that 2, 3, 4,000, and another tenant could be in this virtual space where you have the GCCs coming in, where they're leasing the full, say, 10, 20, 40,000 square feet floor plate, and you may own a part of that 2,000. So you don't even realize, but you've actually rented your space to an Amazon, a Google, or the likes.
And yes, you're absolutely correct. And a lot of developers are also retaining certain part of their project with themselves, so that they are also there in the building for a very long time, and they help the building lease. Once a big brand comes, then the subsidiary brands also comes. And one area that I wanted to highlight is North is a predominantly commercial market where commercial projects are being sold to the investors, unlike other areas in India where developer keeps the commercial project with themselves as a rented asset, and they get rental out of it. They get very good rental out of it. Why? Because one, they put a lot of time and energy in designing the building in terms of the overall experience. I've heard a lot of buildings in Bangalore. They've had a 5-star chef to manage their food court, just to give the experience to the customers. And similar things is also being followed here. A lot of developers right now, while we are talking in Gurgaon, are putting a lot of time and energy in planning the building, in planning the experience center, or maybe the arrival experience, in planning the food area, the cafeteria part of it.
So would it make more sense, or for, say, today I'm an investor and I know that the developer who's actually selling part of the commercial space is actually invested himself also. There's some part he's not selling. So would that be an added advantage, that knowing the fact that he's not selling certain floors, he's also more attached, that he's going to make sure that the building, the look and feel, the leasing is the best, knowing that he's also holding inventory.
That's a green flag for an investor. That's a green flag for an investor. If builder is there, so and they are not selling the property to anyone, they'll eventually want the building to be leased, because they want a rental yield out of it, and the entire ecosystem will flourish then.
Maybe two floor plates or 3 floor plates to a particular set building, and as Anjani has put it very rightly, that is a green flag, and which keeps the building in its prim and proper kind of maintenance that goes.
I think we saw this in one of AIPL's buildings.
Absolutely
also, right?
AIPL Business Club is one of them, where the company promoters themselves have their own office in the building. That, as I said, is an added advantage.
Now, if we look at someone who's got a long-term investment horizon and they want passive income, for them, should we recommend, and from your perspective, you've got so much experience in the industry, you're looking at residential, commercial, both. So should they be looking at a ready-to-move residential from an investment perspective, or should they look at a commercial?
So if it is a ready-to-move in residential versus commercial, I would recommend commercial office space, either on pre-leased, or you buy it or you put it on lease. Why? Because residential gives you a return of 1.5-2% right now in Gurgaon, plus a capital appreciation every year. On the other hand, office space which is pre-leased can give you a return up to 6.5-7% also, plus the capital appreciation. So per month rental passive income point of view, having a pre-leased office space is something that we strongly recommend. Residential does not come in the purview of giving you a good passive income in the range of 5-6%.
I think the math straight away stacks up for commercial pre-leased. And for someone who has a 2 crore budget, which is also a decent budget, and there's so many investors in that bracket, residential में तो अब उन्हें कुछ नहीं मिलता गुड़गांव में, but commercial के लिए where can they invest? Can you suggest something?
Yeah, so if you have a 2 crore budget and अगर आप residential explore करते हो तो कुछ चीज़ें मिल जाएंगी, which are things which are old, apartments which are old. वहाँ पे भी rental yield 2.5%, 3% तक भी मिल सकता है. But I would strongly recommend somebody has a budget of 2 crore रुपए, they should come and see some commercial options, especially in office category. There you can find multiple options, products which are already leased to a very good brand, और आपको rental yield आ जाता है 6.5-7% का. As a passive income point of view, as an investment ROI point of view, that makes more sense.
And any examples that you can give me of buildings what you would recommend जहाँ पे entry point 2 crores and upwards में है, 2-3 करोड़ के bracket में?
अगर आप under construction देखते हो तो AIPL autograph में you can find a 1,200 square feet office space which will be ready in next 5-7-8 months timeline, and उसके बाद वो lease हो जाएगा and you can get a ROI. और आप कुछ ready to move in देखते हो तो we have a lot of pre-leased option where you can buy 1500 square feet office space, which is already leased to a good brand like MNCs and similar brands. And you can get a rental yield of 6.5% up to 7%.
So you're the right person to hit up for someone looking for options in this budget.
Yes.
And what about financing in this sector? Because what we've understood and seen, ki residential is more favored from a financing perspective compared to commercial.
So residential mein, from the bank point of view, if you're taking a loan up to 30 lakh rupees, you can get 90% of the property value as a bank support. If it is 30 to 75 lakh rupees, you get 80% of the total book value ka bank support. If it is beyond 80 lakh rupees, 75 lakh rupees, you get 75% ke aspas ka bank support in terms of total property value or the market value of the property. It is slightly different in commercial. Commercial बैंक उसमें 65% 70% तक सपोर्ट करता है फ्रॉम द फाइनेंसिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू.
इंटरेस्टिंग. ऐसा नहीं है कि कमर्शियल में बैंक वोंट सपोर्ट. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल थिंक कि होम लोन मिल जाएगा तो रेजिडेंशियल में इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए. तो ऐसा नहीं है कि कमर्शियल में आपको बैंक का सपोर्ट नहीं मिलेगा. वहाँ पे ऑल्सो यू कैन मेक द यूज ऑफ दैट फाइनेंसिंग.
एंड द रेंटल दैट यू आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम द कमर्शियल एसेट, you can also leverage your bank loan or maybe your eligibility in getting a loan because वो आपके लिए एक income के form में आपके पास आता है. So that also bank values as an additional income.
Oh, so it's in fact your, say for example, if I've taken a loan and I've got an interest servicing to do, in a way part of the interest or the entire interest depending on the investment can get serviced from the asset itself while you enjoy the capital appreciation. Amazing.
Overall, coming to the previous point of, as we have touched upon that the fear among very many investors is that the property may not get leased. So this the word pre-leased option, and trust me, Radhika, there are really grade A companies who are today in the market where you get a good pre-leased option of say 1,000 to 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, where as a passive income, a person, whether is an investor or a person who has this kind of money wanting to invest, he should deter from getting into some kind of a plot development, but to get a good recurring income out of this particular asset. And eventually the asset also grows as the escalation clauses are there over 3 years of period or longer than that, and in lieu get a grade A company which some of the companies are as good as having MNCs and having collaboration, or whether it's a Japanese collaboration or a German collaboration, have set up their offices in this 2,000 to 3,000 square feet of area, which gets pre-leased.
Amazing. And what kind of escalations do we see? You mentioned that every 3 years there would be an escalation.
So as we say that these leases are 3 plus 3 plus 3 is 9 years. 3 years has an escalation clause of 15% plus, depending on the terms on the term sheet that is there.
So whatever rental I'm making today, so 3 years later I'll be making 15% more, plus there's capital appreciation of the asset as well.
Yeah, if you recalculate it or recalibrate it, then your capital appreciation, the asset appreciation also goes up with the escalation happening.
Any examples that you can give me for all the viewers and actual investors, which are the buildings that they should evaluate or developers they should evaluate today in Gurgaon?
So currently in my mind that really comes on the extension road would be AIPL Autograph. A fantastic development. It's 1 million square feet of office lease or office space, if I put it, is coming up. In the heart of the major catchment area, we have the golf estate right in front of it. We have Marbella towards the just adjacent of it, and proximity to the extension road would be around about 300 to 400 meters as we keep it. Further new developments of Arbor are also in the vicinity. The idea here is a grade A building, categorized at grade A building with 3 towers, and 1 tower, as I said, is dedicated towards the entrance of the entire office space. This is one entire glass facade that I see out here. Overall, more aesthetic added to it is on the rooftop will be the Autograph Executive Club. So, again, as we had put it, more to do with good amount of F&B also coming in to give you that, atmosphere, experience, as we put it. So this is one project that should be keenly watched by investors wanting to invest. There is a lockable space also of 2,000 to 3,000 square feet as we speak, and the construction, the The fit-out timelines have already been communicated to people who are already holding offices there, which should happen in another 3 to 4 months from now.
And what would the investment ticket start at for a
So
product
investment
like
ticket,
this?
good time. We are looking at approximately 19,000 rupees per square feet, which culminates into say around about for 1,000 square feet also, if you're looking at it, or 1,500 square feet, so anything between 2 to 2.5 crores. And the best part is that it's just round the bend in terms that we don't have to wait for very long. We are looking at the timelines of October to November to be given for fit outs.
Very nice. So looking at the budget and the fact that it's almost ready to move and leasing will start soon, it's a perfect investment
and
to look at.
Threshold rental, if I may have to add, in and around that vicinity is anything right now to 90 to 105 rupees per square feet in that particular micro market going ahead on 66. Other is, yes, we should have soon, the timelines are not fixed as we know. Emaar should be coming up with their commercial, which is again in sector 62. Sector, again, we should watch out for Emaar, just adjacent to their digital green, a building which has been very successful in terms of small units setting up their offices out there. It has been for some given point of time, and as we speak today also is an address. So just adjacent to that, Emaar should be coming up with their commercial.
And I think Emaar has really proved themselves in Gurgaon when it comes to commercial leasings, whether it's Golf Course Road with Palm Spring Plaza or any other buildings that you've mentioned. They're really doing very well.
They have been doing well. Even this, the digital green, where there were multiple units held by multiple investors, all literally the building is 100% leased out.
And this is when it came before its time, when the catchment was still coming up.
Absolutely right. And there also today we speak the per square, the rate per square feet touches around about 20 to 23,000 rupees per square feet. And that is a rental return, and 100 plus is the lease rental as we speak.
Another project which we should look for is AIPL Joy Gallery, which is in Sector 66, adjacent to M3 IFC. It has retail in the ground in first and second. And above that, there is office space also. The name of the office is AIPL Statement. Although they are not selling it in strata basis, they are selling the entire floor plate there.
So all large investors that are coming in
but
there.
the building is coming up very beautifully. I think it will be ready maybe by end of this year or early next year. That is one of the very good option if you are looking to have something bigger.
In fact, a lot of large investors that come in and family offices, they prefer something like this because they don't like the 3,000 square feet. From a large family office perspective, this building might be one of the best bets.
And I think so we have the retail at the bottom right now.
Yes, retail is already functional. It is
yeah.
A lot of good brands has
Mango has
operated.
opened up outlet. Yeah, we've seen that.
And somebody who is interested to in cash on the market rush, especially in commercial segment right now, should come and see the kind of growth happening on Golf Course Extension Road. We have heard the news that Google from table space has taken 5 lakh square feet on Extension Road. A lot of big brands are moving towards Extension Road to make that location their office. That is why the boom in terms of pricing is there. That is why, and we are also hearing a lot of big brands are exploring Extension Road in the vicinity area in terms of buying lands and developing commercial A category commercial development. So somebody should come and see what all actions happening on Extension Road.
I think looking at extension and looking at Gurgaon in general, Golf Course Road is so saturated, there's not much land left. So as a natural extension, I think Golf Course Extension is that natural extension today. So for sure, any tenant from the leasing perspective also, from a developer perspective also, if any good grade A expansion will happen, this is the micro market.
Correct.
Absolutely right.
Thank you so much, Anjani and Munish. This has been an extremely enlightening session where people have not spoken about commercial, and today we've gotten into the depths of commercial in NCR. And definitely you've spoken about a few examples and brands and projects to look out for. But for anyone, look as an investor who wants to understand where to invest based on your investment criteria, please reach out to Khushi Housing.